Firelight. No, what is it? Gabriel?
What? I can't see.
Gabriel, get in.
Can't. It's too small for me.
You must get in, Gabriel.
It's not mine. Too small.
Hide, Gabriel, hide.
No, no, let me out. Help.
Young man, the lecture is over.
Oh my God.
Ja loput siitä luennosta väliin. Tuli tosiaan mieleen tässä luennon aikana, että mä unohdin yhdessä paikassa käydä. Mutta käydään siellä nyt. Päästään täällä vähän etenemään sitten täällä yliopistolla. Elikkä tänne eka. Käppäiläänpä tänne sitten. Vasempaan yläkulmaan. Odotellaan tässä hetki aikaa, että tuo nainen tuossa alkaa tanssimaan. Pitäisi ainakin tässä ihan kohtapuoleen. Ollaan mä taas unohtanut jotain.
Come on, boys. Hoopla.
Liitytäänpä tanssiin mukaan.
Not a bad idea. Ooh, baby, I love the way you move.
Madame Lorelei winks knowingly at Gabriel and twitches her hip.
Yep, she wants me.
Koettakaa vaan vaarissa ja seuraavalla kerralla kun käytte, niin onnistuuko naisten iskeminen noilla kommenteilla.
Thanks, boys.
No se pudotti maahan tuon huntuunsa. Tää on se tänne ja vilkaistaan sitä vähäsen.
Gabriel examines the veil with a magnifying glass.
Siinä on joku suomu.
That sequin looks a little strange. Why, it's a snake scale.
Otetaanpa sitten pinsetit ja sitten katsellaan tarkemmin.
Gabriel carefully uses the tweezers to remove the snake scale from the veil.
Vertaillaanpa sitten. Onko se samanlainen kuin se urhapaikalta löydetty?
Gabriel magnifies the scale from the fortune teller. The iridescent scale is hued olive green. It doesn't seem to match the scale from Lake Pontchartrain.
Joo, eli tää nainen ei ole ollut murhissa mukana ainakaan luultavasti. Mutta annetaan sille se huntu takaisin.
I think this veil belongs to you.
Huh, my veil. I'm always losing those things. You have no idea. Well, darling, you're such a sweetie to return a lady's delicates, and so handsome as well.
Well,
And since you have such a clear interest in fortune-telling, let me see your hands. They look so strong. Perhaps they will make both our fortunes clear, no?
I wish something would.
Strong. Yes, no, yet so delicate and flexible.
You don't know the half of it.
Oh, good. I see a mysterious woman in your immediate future.
Madame Lorelei winks at Gabriel knowingly.
She is a dangerous one. Dark and beautiful. Ah, I see the road of your life foggy. And very soon.
The blood drains from Madame Lorelei's face in an instant. Sweat beads on her upper lip.
Are you okay?
Oh God! Beware! Beware!
Mitäs se säikähti?
What is it about me lately?
En tiedä, mutta nuo iskurepliikit kyllä vaatii vähän parannettavaa, että sillä voisi aloittaa. Jutellaanpa tämän taiteilijan kanssa, jolle me annettiin pieni tehtävä viimeksi.
How's it going today? What? Oh, it's only you. Man, I have been jumpy all day. That pattern of yours really freaked me out for some reason. There's just something creepy. You finished it? Yeah, and you're welcome to it. Here. Wow, this is great. Uh-huh. Just don't, like, blow up the planet with it or something, okay? I didn't mean to upset you. Oh, forget it. I'm probably just being stupid. Do your thing with it, and good luck.
Noin, saatiin nyt se tärkeä esine, mitä me tarvittiin tuolla yliopistossa. Mennään sinne sitten takaisin. Heti kun Gabriel vain joutaa. Sillä kun ei ole kovin kiire mihinkään. Ja nyt sinne yliopistolle. Juttelemaan sitä luentoa pitäneelle professorille. Tonne vaan.
Are you a student?
No. My name is Knight. Gabriel Knight.
Well, you have walked into my private office, Mr. Knight. I hope you have something worthwhile to do here. If you figure it out, let me know.
Jutellaanpas vähän sun kanssa.
Mind if I pick your brain?
Not if it will get you out of my office.
Kerropa meille sitten voodoosta.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
You already sat through my lecture on the subject, Mr. Knight. Perhaps next time you could stay awake and learn something.
Niinpä.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
I've read about them in the papers. I must admit to some interest. But according to the newspapers, the voodoo aspect is faked, so I haven't really pursued it. You know how Americans, especially Hollywood, treats voodoo. I'm sure there are many so-called practitioners out there that have no idea what they're doing or the power they're playing with.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
I find it interesting to see the occasional fragment of voodoo practices in the everyday culture of New Orleans.
Do you know anything about snakes?
I'm not a zoologist, Mr. Knight, but I know all I care to about reptiles.
Do you have any idea what Cabri sans cœur means?
Cabri sans corps. Yes, I do. It's a Haitian term, I believe. It's French, and literally translates as goat without horns.
As in a female goat?
No, as in a human sacrifice. Sacrifices in voodoo are usually of the animal variety. Chickens, wolves, goats. If the gods demand a goat without horns, it means a human being.
Jaha, se tuli selville sitten.
Do you know anything about Marie Laveau?
While I find the colloquial bastardizations of voodoo somewhat interesting from a sheerly intellectual point of view, there's not a lot of relation between people like Laveau and true voodoo practices.
Do you know anything about animal masks?
As I said in my lecture, which I assume you actually listened to, is that animal masks, totems, are used extensively in most African voodoo religions.
Tell me about bebés.
If you'd taken notes during my lecture, you wouldn't have to ask.
Have you ever heard of a Schottenjäger?
I'm afraid I can't help you there, Mr. Knight.
Tell me about yourself.
All right, Mr. Knight, I'm 35, a fully tenured professor at this university, as well as a fellow at Cambridge. My doctorate was obtained at Syracuse. Yes, Syracuse, in religious studies. I'm an agnostic, but I find human belief systems fascinating. I specialize in African religions because I grew up there. My father was a Protestant missionary. And I am heterosexual when I practice sex at all, which isn't very often. Any other questions?
No.
Fine.
No se oli ehkä kertoo itsestään paljon enemmän kuin suuri osa näistä muista henkilöistä, mitä ollaan haastateltu.
Tell me more about human sacrifice.
It's very rare. Most voodoo practices do not include human sacrifice as a matter of record, but it is theoretically possible if that's the gods demand. For example, one of the chants I had translated for me from a Haitian ritual went like this. Mistress Azuli, come and aid us. If a cock is demanded, we will give it. If a bull will suffice, behold it. But if a goat without horns is required for sacrifice, oh, where will we find one? Azuli is the gentlest of Loa, so they call on her for mercy. But I have seen grown and powerful Hungan tremble before a possession by one of the more violent Loa, such as Papa Needle. Clearly, they are afraid that something of the sort will be ordered, or that the Loa will simply take it for themselves.
Vai niin? Siinä oli kaikki nuo jutut, mutta näytetään sitten vielä tätä kuviota, minkä se taiteilija oli meille piirtänyt.
Can you tell me anything about this pattern?
Wow. Interesting. Very interesting. Mind if I copy this?
Be my guest.
Great. I'll be right back.
Sehän hoitui nopeasti. Maailman nopein kopiokone.
Here you go. You know, this is a fascinating veve. You must tell me all about its origin.
Actually, I was hoping you'd tell me. Can you figure out anything about it from the symbols?
Well, some. That's why I wanted a copy. I want to research the design myself. Each of the symbols in the veve represents something, a loa, a place. Where did you get this?
Have you heard of the voodoo murders?
No, you're kidding. Really? Then the voodoo is authentic. The newspapers are wrong. Boy, are they wrong.
You think this veve is authentic, then?
Authentic? Mr. Knight, that's like asking if the Mona Lisa is a painting. Tell you what, I'll look into these symbols myself and see what I can learn about the sect that made this. I'll give you a call when I have more information. You are associated with the police, aren't you?
Absolutely. But I'm, undercover. You can contact me at the St. George's bookshop in the quarter.
All right. Now, I'd like to get started on this if you don't mind.
Jep. Saatiin professori tutkimaan tätä juttua.
I'll be going.
Goodbye.
Ja seuraavaksi painellaan sinne Madame Sajanu asunnolle. Kasanu, Sajanu. Miten ihmeessä se oikein lausutaan? Mutta kuitenkin. Se on täällä, missä koiran naama. Se ei päästä meitä sisälle muuten, jollei me pukeuduta papiksi.
All right. But this is private.
Näin. Ja vielä pieni yksityiskohta vielä kuntoon, eli laitetaan hiukset siististi geelillä.
The things I do for my art.
Näin nyt olla uskottava papin näkymä. Ja sitten koputetaan oveen.
Yes. Who is it?
It's Father McLaughlin to see you.
Father McLaughlin, you say? You must be new in the parish. I'm so pleased to meet you, Father. Do come in.
Thank you, my child.
Loistava toi Tim Curryn ranskalaisen aksentti.
Please be seated, Father.
Thank you.
Now, what can I do for you?
Jutellaanpa sille ja kysellään asioista.
Do you mind if I ask you a few questions, my child?
Of course not, mon père.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
People think I'm just a foolish old woman, but I know the things they do. My family's been in New Orleans since 1750, so I know more than most. Voodoo people are all over this city, in the shops, everywhere. They'll curse you like that, and most people don't even notice. Spit on your bread at the bakery. Take strands of your hair at the store when you try on the clothes. You have to be so careful. But I know their ways, so I can protect myself. I know how to use the magic too, and I can counteract their evil spells.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
Voodoo murders? Ha! They are nothing new to me, Father. They happen all the time. I hardly go out anymore. It's too dangerous in the streets. They can get you anywhere, you know. Even here in this room. But I try not to let them know about me. That's the best way.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
The only true New Orleanians are of French origin, you know. My family were among the original settlers of New Orleans. They came here from France. The Creole society used to be so gay in New Orleans. Now it barely hangs on by its fingernails.
Do you know anything about snakes?
Snakes! They're evil creatures. Did you know that evil people can send them into your dreams? They can. That's why I never sleep.
Right, thanks.
Miten ihmeessä saat sitten hengissä, jos et sä koskaan nuku? Sillä se on aika tärkeää se nukkuminen.
Do you have any idea what Cabri sans corps means?
Mais oui, I know. I bet you do not, Father, n'est-ce pas?
No se on tää vuohi ilman sarvia, mikä opittiin siellä yliopistolta.
It means goat without horns.
Father, you surprise me. You do know what it means. You know what they mean by goat without horns, don't you? A human being. That's right. Slit your throat, cut out your heart. Pure evil murder.
Tell me more about Marie Laveau.
She was only a front for the real evildoers, Father. And that's the truth about Marie Laveau.
Do you know anything about animal masks?
No, Father. I don't know anything about that.
Do you know anything about veves?
No, Father. I don't know anything about that.
Have you ever heard of a Schattenjäger?
No, Father. I don't know anything about that.
Sä et tiedä mistään mitään.
Do you know anything about human sacrifice here in New Orleans?
Well, my great-grandmother could tell stories. She saw it. People say that sort of thing wasn't done in New Orleans. But the real voodoo queens did it. Oh, yes.
Tell me about yourself.
Me? I am Creole. My family has been in New Orleans for over 200 years. Real New Orleanians are French, you see. These days the city is overrun with people with no heritage at all. No offense, father, but it's true. But the French, naturellement, will always be the true blood of New Orleans.
Who were the real voodoo queens?
Well, my great-grandmother told me that Lavaux was just a front, a flamboyant decoy. She distracted authorities from the real voodoo queen of New Orleans. It's been the same one for almost 200 years. She's head of a secret voodoo en fort. That's what they call their temples, you know. It's so secret, most of the voodoo people in the city don't even know about it. The real voodoo queen controlled Lavaux, gave her a little bit of power, and used her like a puppet.
Tell me more about this secret voodoo hound fool.
Well, I've never seen it. I wouldn't go near it if you paid me. But it's here in New Orleans, I guarantee it. I hear the drums at night, oh yes. That's why I am so ill. I tell you, those drums. But we shouldn't talk about it. They'll hear us. It's the devil's work that happens there. I can't tell you. I'll show you something. Something secret. You mustn't tell anyone, father.
I swear on my collar.
Here it is, mon père. A true object of evil if there ever was one.
It radiates something, all right.
It belonged to my great-grandmother. She told my mother that it was a token to gain entrance to the real voodoo ceremonies.
You don't say.
To tell you the truth, I always felt nervous about having it in the house. You know, evil influence and all.
Oh, I can see how you would, yes.
And yet, I could never part with it. It's been in the family for generations. Would you bless it for me, father? I feel strange asking such a thing of you, but surely you understand.
Bless this bracelet of a snake, even though its vibes aren't great. Let it do nobody harm when they wear it on their arm. Voodoo spirits, go away. Don't come back another day. And now, let us pray.
Maailman paras rukous ikinä. Otetaanpa sitten esille se savi, mitä me ollaan pidetty taskussamme ekasta päivästä lähtien, joka on vieläkin märkää jostain syystä. Mutta käytetään sitä tähän rannerenkaaseen ja tehdään siitä sitten kopio.
Gabriel has a thought about the clay.
Bless, oh bless this circlet of silver. Take the curse, oh take it, Wilbur.
A lovely blessing, mon père.
Yes, I think it made a lasting impression. Here you go.
I feel so much better now.
Joo, sitten me voinkin lähteä pois. Täällä ei ole enää mitään muuta meillä.
Gabriel cannot open the front hall.
Älä sano.
Well, madame, I must be gone.
Of course, father. I know how busy you must be tending your flock.
Näin, ja sitten lähdetään
I'm
pois.
not going back on the street looking like this.